Ladies, gentlemen, and others, in today's episode, I have someone, I think I say this too often, but I have someone who really truly would qualify to be in my top 3 close friends in the industry. Someone whom I met at an event, I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago. And she truly opened my eyes to YouTube in a whole different way. This person has been my go-to for very many questions when it comes to the platform of YouTube. And we hope to travel together at some point is the goal for 2023. So Mridul Sharma, welcome to the pod.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I loved that little introduction that you did for me. Really cute.
Are you going to make my goal of traveling together come alive sometime soon? I say this to her with passive aggression because I'm currently trying to convince her to join me on a trip.
On a very expensive trip, may I add?
Maybe my first question should be, Mridul Sharma, how much do you make on YouTube? Because hello, that is not something you should be complaining about. No, on a serious note, YouTube. I mentioned this in the intro. You're someone that I actually genuinely have reached out to several times when I have questions. Because even though I've been a creator for 12 years, I've been on YouTube only for like 5-6 years, I think, at this point. But you're someone who always knew you wanted to do YouTube.
Yeah.
How and why and what wanted to get you here and what's keeping you here?
Wow.
Lot of questions. Yeah, too many
at
questions.
once. So I started YouTube about 7 years ago. I'm going to complete 7 years this September. Yeah. And so essentially I started doing YouTube when I was 18. And even before that, I used to blog like you, back when blogging was a thing. So before that, 2 years before that, I used to do blogging. So it's been 9 years of me doing this. And I actually always wanted to start off with YouTube. But you know how YouTube can be a little bit intimidating. It's easier to write blogs than to show your face on the camera and talk. So back when I was 11 years old, I used to watch a lot of YouTube. I've always been a big consumer of YouTube. And ever since I was 11, I used to watch people like Bethany Mota. I feel like that's someone, everyone names her name, right? And Law DIY, Alicia Marie, Remy Ashton, all of them. I used to watch their videos and I would always think that I want to do YouTube. And somewhere I always knew it's going to be a thing in India eventually. And thankfully it did become a thing in India. And yeah, that's how I started doing YouTube. It was kind of slow in the beginning. Like when I started, of course, I feel like that's the case for most people. But then it's been really nice. It's been so fulfilling doing YouTube because I get to kind of exercise all of my passions in a way, because I feel like I like to do a lot of things like fashion, beauty, makeup. I feel like all of us do, right? Home decor, DIYs. So I get to kind of channel all of my energy there. So it's been really nice.
So 7-ish years, almost 7 years of YouTube and 2 years of blogging before that. Mm-hmm. Is blogging something you do at all in your hobby? I, by the way, came to know that you have your blog much later after. I think at that point of time we were already friends, and I was like, oh wait, you used to blog. So that was like, oh wait, because I also have my blog and I still go back to it sometimes.
I do too.
You know, when I'm like, I feel like writing today. Do you go back to that at all?
So I actually used to have a Blogspot blog before, which doesn't have a lot of posts. I feel like it has maybe 10, after which I migrated to a proper WordPress, which doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
So I can't go back. No, because it was very expensive. So I was like, I'm going to let it go.
Fair enough. And if you weren't like looking into it actually.
Yeah. And I actually kind of cringed at my own blogs because I'm not a very good writer, you know. So I was like, I can't do this. And it was just too cringy. Like I just couldn't. So I was like, I'm going to let this go. I still have the Blogspot live. So from time to time, I do go back and read my blogs, cringe a little, feel a little cute. But yeah.
You are also currently going through, like, we're filming this in May. So I know that at the moment you're currently going through this phase where you're doing a lot of throwbacks on your Instagram stories of like older memories and blog posts. And I look at that and I'm like, okay, so all of us went through this chuggy era of going to like certain areas with graffiti and posing in front of it. We've all done that then.
Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned that it was really expensive to maintain a website, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like these days, video first, there's reels, there's shorts internationally out of India in most countries. There's TikTok. If there was someone who was listening that wanted to become a content creator, what kind of expenses would you tell them just to keep ready for, to prep for? And are there indicative numbers you can give us?
Okay. I feel like it really depends on what kind of content you want to make to start off.
Let's
but
assume it's someone
yeah.
like you, like someone
Yeah.
wants to do what you do, because
Yeah.
your target audience is also a lot of people under the age of 25.
Yeah, 18 to, yeah,
18
essentially.
to 25.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to do what you do, what costs would you keep them prepared for?
So I feel like the first thing that you probably need is, I personally don't think you really need a camera to begin.
I agree.
feel like if you have a nice smartphone, you can just use the back camera and get like a 200 rupee tripod from Amazon. I feel like that's it. You don't even really need an iPhone. I feel like back in the day, the cameras weren't as advanced, but like these days, all smartphones do. The back camera is great. I feel like that's all you really need, and a tripod and natural light. But if you don't have natural light, maybe get a small little light. I feel like that you could get for like 1,000 rupees max. I feel like that's really about it. And then if you want to create like fashion content, I feel like there are a lot of like jugadu ways to do it. I feel like when I was in college, I would just go to Hill Road. Like if you're in Delhi, you can just go to Sarojini and have a budget, maybe save up a little bit, maybe 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees a month, and then create content out of it. And then just use what you really have. I feel like in the beginning, I feel like staying true to what you already have makes like a huge difference. Like what you already have, what you already love, I feel like utilize that and then build upwards. I feel like, so if I were to put a number on it, excluding the iPhone or the phone, whatever, maybe say like 4,000 rupees max.
So it's become a lot more affordable
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
than it was.
I feel like even then, I didn't start. Well, yeah, I had a nice phone. So maybe, I had that privilege of having a nice phone. But other than that, I would also just like use my pocket money and, kind of budget it out and hustle also on the side. This is a little bit scammy, but I would buy sunglasses from Hill Road for like 100, 200 rupees. I would go to a salon. The owner was really nice. And she would tell me, get me these sunglasses, and she would ask me how much they're for, and I would be like, they're for 1,000 rupees. And I would take the 900 off, and every month she would buy like 5-6 sunglasses from me, and I would like put that money aside. So
Jugadu,
thoda
full jugadu.
I would also offer services. I would make like a little menu card with head massage, pedicure, manicure. I would have all of that stuff, which I already have, borrow it from my mom and give her only a pedicure and then take money from her. Or just like people in my family, and then hustle and take that money out and put it into blogging.
I would collect my mom's broken latkans and
Yeah.
go around selling them either back to my mom. I think our moms were very generous in buying
Yeah,
back
yeah.
their own things. And I would go to my aunts and say, do you want latkans for your next thing? And I would collect like little beads.
What's latkans?
दुपट्टे के ऊपर वो जो लटकते नहीं
Yeah,
है
yeah,
छोटे
yeah.
छोटे that's
Yeah, yeah.
called latkan.
Oh, okay.
Or like on your dories at the back on a blouse,
Yeah.
those things, they're called latkans.
Oh, okay.
So like I would literally collect little
Yeah.
latkans. And
How much would you sell them for?
I remember selling sequences and mini pearls back to my mom, her own dupatta or whatever, for like 2 rupees and 5 rupees. I was in the first grade. at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
time, So I want to mention that little detail there. But okay, so I want you to paint a picture for someone who again is aspiring, because I feel like a lot of your audience coming from the younger category. I think that we as influencers in general tend to make it look a lot more glamorous than
Yeah.
it is. So if you were to kind of give someone a roadmap on the reality of it, what's your most favorite thing and least favorite thing of doing what you do now?
I feel like I want to start off by saying I love what I do and I'm so grateful for it. So for the most part, I never really look at the negative or the cons. I love the pros that come with it and I like to focus on that. So I feel like my favorite part would be, it's a really small one, but I feel like at the end of the day, when I'm in bed, all comfy with my makeup off, I love scrolling through my comments. And that just like makes me kind of realize what I do, why I do what I do. So that's my favorite part for sure. The interaction that you get, the love that you get. So that's my favorite part for sure. My least favorite part, I'm going to have to think about this really hard because I feel like the pros really outweigh the cons.
There have to be some cons.
Some
about-
cons, yeah.
Is it the pressure? The pressure of keeping up? Because that's something that I know a lot of people
I feel like
talk
that's
about.
a really good one. I was going to say the criticism, but then I feel like over the past 1 year, I've really learned to kind of embrace it. I actually love criticism. I'm like, give it to me. I can work on it, you know? So I feel like, yeah, I think that there's no like full stop to it. Like even when I'm in bed, I'm like thinking about what I could do more. There's no switch off button mentally. That's totally on me. I don't feel like that comes with the job. It's something you need to learn over time to kind of separate and detach. I feel like that I haven't learned yet. I feel like you're always on. Like your brain is always working. Wouldn't you agree?
I actually disagree on the path that you say doesn't come with a job, because I feel like being a creator, it's a muscle in itself, and the more you exercise it, the longer you've been a creator, your ability to switch off is kind of like 12 years in. My ability to switch off is kind of out of my control at this point.
So you can, is what you're saying. You can't. Okay.
I can't. I mean, I can only speak for myself. If there's someone who's been doing it for as long as you and I, and if they're able to switch it off, more power to them. There are very, very rare instances I can think of where I've been able to switch off, but I can't switch off. Like, and I almost feel, and this is a me problem, I almost feel helpless, or rather I almost feel non-productive or lazy if my brain is switched off.
The guilt.
It's the guilt. The word is guilt. I was really unwell. I was on bed rest in Feb, and I remember lying horizontal and sitting and listening to podcast episodes because I wanted them to go live on time, and I don't know how to separate from it, how to detach from it. At the moment, we're recording in May, but hopefully by the time this episode goes live, I'm on a vacation.
And hopefully I'm with you.
Well, we'll find out about that
we'll find out.
by the time this episode goes live. And at the moment, I'm going through this phase where I stay up at night and I make lists of things I want to do and how those itineraries would translate to potential vlog ideas. And I don't know how to switch off. Like, honest confession, I don't know if I talk about this enough. I'm also really grateful. It's not like I'm dying to switch off.
Exactly.
So
there's a sense of FOMO that you feel
with your content.
Like I need to make the most of everything that's happening, because I feel like both of us also do. It's not just like separate content that we create that's fashion, beauty. Of course we do that, but also
we vlog.
Exactly. Our life is our content. Everything that's happening in our life, we have to document, right? So, and I feel like at this point, I feel like I have to vlog everything, not because I'm supposed to or it's going to get me views. I also want to document it for myself. But of course, I want to get the views also.
Sure.
So it's like a balance. So you don't know when to switch off. But as you said, I don't know if I want to switch off.
I was on a 2-week trip with Gerard to Turkey in 2019. It was our first holiday, just him and me, international holiday, just him and me.
Married.
Yeah.
Or just in general?
No.
Okay.
We had gone on multiple vacations with friends.
Yeah.
But it was the first time it was just him and me in Turkey. And it was one of those things where I said to him, Gerard, I'm not going to be vlogging on this trip. I'm not going to do content. We're just going to have a good time. Sure, I'll take a few pictures for Instagram. This is pre-Reels era. And that's that. Simpler times. And dude, I landed up vlogging that entire trip. That landed up being one of my best travel series to date, I think.
Yeah, I've watched that.
Hopefully
back when we weren't even friends.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully the 2023 series that I'm about to do is going to outdo that one. But and that got me at least 10 more travel gigs later in that same year.
Yeah.
So I feel like there is this inherent feeling of FOMO with content.
Yeah.
And I understand the need to share, the need to want to share.
Yeah.
But is there something that you wouldn't share? Is there a line that you draw for yourself where you're like, okay, this is pushing it? What's a no-go for you?
Yeah. I feel like I don't show a lot of my family. That's something that I consciously don't, because not because of anything. My parents love being on camera.
Your dad has a channel.
Yeah. My dad has a channel. Yeah. My parents have a channel together where they do everything. Like they vlog. Even they're really into traveling. So they do a lot of that.
I thought your dad had the education channel. I didn't know that they vlogged as well.
Yeah. So back in COVID, he had my dad's a professor. He's a chemistry professor. So he would kind of teach also via YouTube, because that was the only way to do it. But then he's also moved on to get another channel which does like travel content and just like random stuff. Yeah. And he posts like, I think once a day, one shot a day. Yeah. So, but yeah, coming back to what you asked me, I do show my parents, but like in proper quantity. Yeah, like not too much of it, because I fear the comments. That's the thing, because I know I can handle it. I don't really care about comments. I don't want them to go back on a post and read something mean about them.
But then what, doesn't that get undone anyway if they have their own channel?
But it's not that big of an audience, right? It's different, because the lesser people, lesser hate. You know what I mean?
What's the nastiest comment you've ever read about yourself on your channel?
I feel like even to this date, I get a lot of comments like Kali Kutti, Kali, like basically on my color. Like people love calling me Kali, but I mean now it doesn't bother me. But back when I did start vlogging, I was younger. I had more insecurities, and I actually was not very confident in my skin. But now I'm okay with it. But those comments I get every day.
But that's such a harsh comment, irrespective of.
Yeah.
I mean, even worse when you're younger. Now you know how to deal with it. But that's such a.
Yeah, it's really mean.
Derogative, weird, backward. Like, what sort of a comment is that?
I know.
Have you ever replied to any of these?
No, I don't.
You block?
No, I do nothing. I let it be. I'll delete sometimes if it really bothers me. But now I just let it be.
What's your opinion on that? Because I know that a lot of people get a lot of flack for deleting comments that are not in their favor.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like each to their own. I feel like your platform and your profile is like your little home on the internet.
Yeah.
And if you want to keep it clean,
correct,
I guess it should be okay.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
As I mentioned, I usually don't delete because it's more engagement, more comment. No, I'm kidding.
But that's okay if that's what you think. It's your job.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, it really depends. If it's something like Kali and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't care. I'm just gonna let it be. If it's something, if it has like bad words, like slangs with like asterisks, then I delete, because I have a younger audience and I don't want them to see it. And also I have a younger cousin who watches my videos really like religiously, and maybe if she were to go on the comments, I wouldn't want her to read something like that. So keeping that in mind, I'll delete sometimes. But I feel like, yeah, to each their own. It really depends on what. I don't block. Yeah, I don't block. That's one thing that I don't do. But yeah, I delete sometimes, or I'll just let it be. That's what I do.
I don't delete, but on Instagram especially, because for YouTube, I feel like I have a 99% positive community.
Yeah.
I have that 1% audience on shorts that's sometimes a little bit weird. It's okay. Don't worry about it. But I feel like on Instagram, if someone's coming at me with non-constructive criticism, like I get a lot of bullshit I actually get a lot of random bullshit for my tattoo. I do occasionally.
Really?
Yeah, it's really random. I get a lot of bullshit sometimes for having married someone who's older.
Yeah.
Those kind of non-constructive random hate, I just block.
Yeah.
I can be on Instagram, I can be quite the serial blocker.
Oh,
because I'm
okay.
like, I want this to be, for me, I want it to be a happy space. In any case, when you get on social media and it's your job, there's so much numbers, analysis, comparison. I don't want to have to deal with hate bullshit while I'm here.
Correct.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I actually reply, but not to the non-constructive ones. I'll reply to the constructive criticism.
That
Always. Yeah, I love that.
I actually reply to the random hate also sometimes, where I'll call them out and I'll be like...
But I feel like, they do it for the attention. By me replying to them, it's, they're asking for it. I'm not going to give it to them. I'm not going to give them that satisfaction, which is why I'll never reply.
No, I've seen that for sure. I learned that the hard way, the longer way, where I was like, oh, wait, all you wanted was some attention. All right.
And after you reply to them, they're like, hey, I'm a big fan of you. I was just kidding. Sorry, I just wanted your attention. I'm like,
that doesn't,
why?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If anyone out there has ever done this, please know it doesn't make the cause any better.
Yeah.
You've mentioned, and we've discussed just now on a couple of occasions, that you have a younger audience. 18 to 25 is your primary demographic.
Yeah.
India, I'm assuming, is your
yeah.
biggest demographic as well. Have you ever tailor-made audience to suit that demographic? Because wait, you're 26, 20?
I'm 25. Don't age me.
Don't be
25.
ageist. I'm 31 and I love it.
I want to stay 25. This is a good age. It's a comfortable age.
You want to be frozen here in time forever?
Yeah, actually.
Just shut up.
Maybe 24. That perfect.
Kuch bhi, huh? Nonsense. But do you feel like sometimes what happens when you're 30? You don't even want to think about it. But like, what happens then? I mean, your audience and you have a little bit of an age gap, I would assume. Or is it more
I feel like it's 60-40, wherein 60% of it is a little bit younger than me. and then 40% is my age. Like the things that I do make sense to them, and they're going through similar stages in their life, if that makes any sense. So it's a good balance.
But would you ever, so when you plan your content,
Yeah.
I should probably ask you because I know this, but it's unfair of me to assume everyone else knows this. You are someone that plans your content in advance.
Oh yeah, of course.
So can you walk us through a little bit of this process? I'm asking you this as if I personally don't know, but her and I have had in-depth conversations. But I want you to tell people how it is that you plan your content as a full-time YouTuber who does a whole bunch of, like, you do Instagram as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
So much frustration on your face when you say that. Why? Why is there frustration?
No, it's not frustration. It's just that I haven't been able to figure out what I want to do on Instagram. That's yeah, you could call it frustration for sure in that angle.
Why
I feel like
not?
I'm very comfortable with YouTube. I know what I'm doing. I know what works. And I feel YouTube's my home. Let's just begin by saying that. Instagram was never really my focus, but I feel like over the past few years, I've realized that it has to be one of my areas of focus, correct? So I've been trying to put more love, attention, research into Instagram, but I feel like I still haven't gotten there. But let's talk about YouTube because I feel comfortable talking about YouTube.
No, but why not do the same thing on Instagram as you're doing on YouTube?
But because I personally feel same content doesn't work on both the platforms. You have to tailor it in a certain way, because I feel like YouTube content is very different versus Instagram content. Don't you think so?
I mean, I think so, but I want to get your perspective on it.
Yeah, so I feel like you can't, of course, you can recycle your content and post the same thing on both the platforms, but also I feel like you need to make organic content for each platform. Like, for example, I do a lot of, say for example, what I eat in a day for shorts because that does well, but I wouldn't post that on Instagram. And for example, on Instagram, I would do like maybe like an aesthetic, say room tour, for example, really random example, but that necessarily won't do well on shorts. I need to figure out what does well on Instagram. I haven't been able to figure out that.
This aesthetic word of yours is as much as I know there is a fan base that loves your I'm like, sometimes I'm like, Mridul, stop it. Everything doesn't have to look so aesthetic.
I know.
All the time.
I know.
IRL, that's what I catch myself telling her. Like,
yeah.
Do you ever stop yourself from doing something really nice organically because you're like, oh, this is not aesthetic, it won't look nice
I
enough?
have been trying to, because like with my shorts, that's one thing that I've been like, people want to see the real shit. Am I allowed to say that?
You can say fuck it.
Yeah, okay. So people want to see the real deal.
I love that you're saying the real deal on The Real Deal with Aanam C.
Cute. So I've been trying to do that for shorts, wherein I usually, whenever I would even do stories, I would switch on my Godox, I would switch on all the lights. I would want the light to be perfect. I would want it to be crisp.
I have been witness to this.
Yeah. So I'm like, snap out of it. It's fine. Thoda kharab lighting hoga, chalega. People want to see what's happening, you know, like in real time. Everything should look real. So I've been trying to do that for shorts. I haven't been able to do that for Instagram yet. Hopefully, little bit at a time.
Wait, so I should
Baby
go back.
steps.
I should go back to my question before I forget. Walk us through your process of planning, creating, and putting your content into edit.
So I feel like this year I've adapted to a newer pattern, which I feel like has been working really well for me. So I have multiple notes on my phone. One of them is 2023 YouTube, which basically just has random ideas that I get. I keep jotting them down. Also, okay, wait. Hold on. I need to start off by saying I personally believe whenever you need to make content, you need to consume a lot of content also. Is what I personally feel. Not to copy paste, but I feel like you need to know what's happening in the market, what's working for other people, and if that's going to work for your channel. If you can tailor it in a certain way where it's true to yourself, it's what people clearly want, right? If they're getting views, clearly people want to watch that. So I feel like I start off by, in general, also I watch a lot of content. Like throughout the day, I catch myself doing my makeup, watching YouTube videos. In fact, I even keep YouTube videos running when I'm sleeping. It's a little creepy at this point, but yeah, that's what I do. So I consume a lot of content, after which there are random ideas that keep coming to me throughout the day or random times during the week. So I'll like keep jotting them down, and then I'll categorize them month-wise, because I feel like certain videos need to be posted because they're time sensitive. If that makes any sense.
Give me an example. I feel like for the listeners, an example would help.
For for example, doing what I got for my birthday would go up after your birthday. Really silly example, but
No,
something
legit,
like that.
legit.
Or maybe like I would love to do like a mystery box with my friends Christmas edition, which would obviously go up during the month of December ideally. So I like to, in that notes tab, I have a January, February, March. So I like categorize them in which month it could go. And also, like for example, if it's the 15th of a month, I'll already start planning for the next month. So just before coming this morning, I already have my plan ready for June. I usually do between 6 to 8 videos a month. Usually I'll try to list down 10 videos so that I can figure out, like I have a buffer of 2 essentially, whichever is easier for me to do in that month. I can cancel out the 2, push them to the next month. That's basically how I do it. Does that answer your question?
No, it does, absolutely.
Yeah.
I said no, but I meant yes. I don't know why I said no. Do you want to also tell us a little bit about how you structure things in terms of a team?
Yeah.
Like, how many members do you have? Who does what? What are their job roles like? So when
Okay.
there's someone out there who is looking to grow
Yeah.
and scale on YouTube, because I think one of the things that you've done really well while you started out independently and on your own, you were very, very quick to hire one of your friends as your manager.
Yeah.
You were very quick to build that little ecosystem for yourself that works well for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So how do those job roles work? What is your daily ops like? Who does what?
Okay. So I want to start off by saying that thanks to Aanam, I really have a team because she's been telling me for years, get a team. But I feel like I was so comfortable. I feel like that's the word. And I feel like also, again, I feel like 1 year has really changed me. Exactly 1 year. Like exactly last year in May is when I felt myself changing, like my mindset really started shifting and I kind of accepted change, and I also perceived change in a more positive way, because I feel like I was so stuck in my ways wherein I was like, अच्छा चल रहा है, जैसा चल रहा है चलने दो. But I wasn't open to the idea of expanding and trying out new things because I was comfortable. Since the past 1 year, I've been trying to try out new things. So exactly again 1 year ago, I got a videographer, photographer on board who started off as a freelancer, and even now he is a freelancer, but we have kind of like a fixed schedule wherein he'll be coming in for at least a fixed number of days. So I have that. Then I have, as you mentioned, Aditya, who's been working with me since honestly day one, like even taking pictures for my blog. He's been taking my pictures for my blog. So he's my manager. He's the one who deals with brands, who cracks deals for me, who also looks at the back end for my brand, Simbaa Skionn.
Which I definitely want to dive into talking about in a bit.
That's a touchy topic. We'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, so he's there. And then again, a year ago, I got a creative assistant who's been a blessing, who's been helping me with everything. Executing, I feel like that's where, because I feel like creating content, it's a full-time job, which I feel like a lot of people don't think it is. It's a very tiring full-time job. So to get someone else to kind of help you with the execution really, really helps. So yeah, that's my little, I also have an editor, but she works remotely. Yeah, that's my little 5 people team. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course you have a separate external CA team,
Correct.
legal, whatever
Yeah.
requirements.
Yeah,
right?
but then of course they work remotely as well. These aren't
Fair
the people
enough.
who come in to my studio. Yeah.
So I want to dive into Simbaa and Skionn a little
Yeah.
bit, because I do feel like one of the things that influencers, content creators, YouTubers, whatever you want to call it, here in India are now finally looking at as a genuine, monetary revenue
Yeah.
is having your own brand. And
Yeah.
I feel like your brands have been around for a while. Like for
Yeah.
me, Verified is a year and a half old. But how old are Simbaa and Skionn as brands?
It's been 5 years for Simbaa, because last year rather, we launched our 5th planner. So yeah, it's been 5 years. And then for Skionn, I believe it's been 3 years. Yeah, approximately 3 years. So yeah, they've been around for a while. However, right now they're going through
Metamorphosis.
yeah, that's the word, I feel like. So I feel like hopefully by the time this podcast is live,
Both the brands will have a facelift. I love how I'm completing sentences
yes,
for this guest
because
of
this
mine.
is a little bit, this like weighs really heavy on my heart, which is we're going through a phase where there's a lot happening back end, like it's been weighing really heavy. It's been really stressful. Hopefully, again, as I said, by the time this podcast goes live, everything's been sorted and we have a fresh start. Let's just say that.
And you guys do put in so much work over there. I know that Aditya works with you on the brands.
Yeah.
You're on it. You have a friend who works on it as well.
Yeah,
separately.
he does. He's full time with us.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the vendors are.
But how big are your in-house teams for Simbaa and Skionn?
So we have Aditya, we have me, we have another one of our friends who works full time for us. And then we have one more person who again works remotely, who's on the social media team.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And
so
then what about like warehouse management and logistics and things
Yeah,
like
so
that?
correct. So we have one more guy who does the logistics and the warehousing. Oopsies. Shipping out the orders. Yeah. So he comes to the warehouse every day.
So for anyone, and I'm literally only asking you this for the sake of, if there's anyone new who's listening to you, let's say on YouTube, most people will know you. But for our listeners, can you tell us what Simbaa and Skionn are as brands? What do you sell?
Okay. So I started off Simbaa Lifestyle 5 years ago with the intention of bringing in makeup brushes in the market, because back then there weren't a lot of makeup brushes that were available.
Yeah.
So that's how it started, but it took a really random turn where now we primarily sell stationery, it was so random. But I had a thought, again, another product which wasn't very easily available back then were planners. 5 years ago, planners weren't really a thing in the Indian market. I'm sure there were a couple of people doing that, but I feel like these days everyone's doing planners. There are so many planners in the market. So yeah, we started off with planners, and I feel like planners and Simbaa Lifestyle kind of goes hand in hand. I feel like that's the first thing that kind of lights up in people's heads when they think of Simbaa Lifestyle, along with stationery, of course. And then Skionn started off, again, very randomly, wherein I really wanted to do tie-dye. Tie-dye was a big thing during lockdown. And it started off with that, and now we do a lot of really comfortable basics, I want to say. And that's something that I really want to build on. Loungewear is something that I personally live in. That's all I wear. So yeah, that's what we essentially do. Clothing, but like really comfortable, good quality, basic clothing.
How many years into your journey as a creator did you decide you wanted to go into the brand space and do this? Because a lot of people, like, I'll give you my own example. A lot of people were like, oh my God, are your collaborations going to get affected? Are your makeup brands not going to want to work with you if you have your own makeup brand?
Yeah.
And I was very confident in a sense where I said, if anything, this adds more legitimacy to the fact that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But was there a conscious strategy, effort, or fear for that matter?
Yeah.
When you decided to go into, let's say, launching Simbaa, because that came first?
Yeah. I always knew eventually I wanted to start a brand. Even before I started a YouTube channel, I had like a proper 5-year plan for me, wherein I was like, I want to start YouTube, I want to start a brand. And I did that really early on. And I had no idea what I was doing. Honestly, when I started, I had no idea. It was a learning curve for sure. I feel like that's the thing with anything new that you do, right? So I don't sell anything that I promote. I don't really promote clothes. I don't, like, as you mentioned, for you, it was a big thing because primarily on Instagram, at least, you do a lot of makeup content. So it didn't kind of affect my brand endorsements or anything on those lines. But I always knew I wanted to create something that's my own. Like, for example, when we create stationery or planners for that matter, there's so much love and so much, I want to say, creativity that goes into it, and it's very satisfying. And to be able to put your name on it and have that in like a physical form, it's very, very satisfying. I mean, you would know that out of all people. So yeah, I always wanted to start a brand, and hopefully this is the year where I really take it to the next level, because I feel like all these years I've had a brand, but I haven't been able to put all of me into it because I've been so focused on my YouTube, my Instagram. I feel like I need to get better, learn from you to kind of have a nice balance wherein I'm working on both. Right now, Aditya was the main one who was handling it, to be very honest. Like the back end, all of that, the business aspect. I would just come in, given my creative inputs. I want to make this happen. And of course, when there's a planner happening or when there's a launch happening, I'm there for it, of course. But I feel like I need to get more involved, and I will this year.
Here's me sending you lots of good juju on
Yes.
that. Is there anything you wouldn't promote? Like, is there a collaboration opportunity that you will say, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Money's great, but I'm not going to do this.
I don't do vitamin C capsules. Like basically anything that you have to ingest.
Like
Like
those,
protein powder.
like those hair gummies.
Yeah, essentially.
Anything to consume.
Yeah, anything to consume. Have I done those hair gummies? I mean, I really like the
I
blue
know
ones.
how you're thinking this back.
No, as in, I don't think I've ever worked with them wherein they've paid me, but I've spoken about those gummies because I love them.
Are you talking about sugar bear hair?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have bought a lot of sugar bear hair on my last trip to the US, and I remember
No, not sugar bear hair. The Indian version of it.
there's an Indian version of it.
Yeah, there's a blue one. There's a really cute packaging.
Sugar bear hair is blue.
Even this one's blue. I don't know the name, but
We're gonna Google this
every
after.
time I use it, my hair fall goes down by like 50%. And I've like mentioned it in my videos and I've left a link, but I don't think I've like been paid money to promote them. Go on.
I need to know what this Indian version of
I'll
it
send
is.
I'll send you the link.
Also, because if Mridul is consuming it, it means she's checked the sugar level and the calorie level in the one. I don't know if people know this about you. I'm going to spill this over here. She checks the back of every packet. She gives me the most judgmental looks when I'm eating junk food, and I'm like, let me be.
Listen, you're making me sound really psycho.
But you're conscious, so good for you. But like, we were in a flight some few weeks ago, and I'm sitting there having Maggie, and she looks at the
Poha,
back.
poha.
नहीं Maggie था.
Maggie था?
Maggie था. Poha नहीं था. And
आते वक्त पोहा था.
and I was like, खाने दे मुझे चैन सी. She's like, this much sugar, this much carb. I'm like, oh my god. I'm literally on air requesting a snack approved list of yours. So I'll go buy that before my trip. So I'm like, these are the things I'm going to take to snack on, which are healthy.
No, but I've just been on a health kick this year. I wasn't like this like all these
How come
years.
there's been no content around it?
There has been, and it's doing really well.
Health-based? Yeah, give me some examples.
I did a 15 days of quitting sugar. That did really well in terms of views and in terms of health. Like my face was like slimmer. I lost like 2 inches.
Bloating must have gone.
I don't know. I don't think so. It was bloating
No,
because I
sugar-
don't bloat. At least I don't think I bloat.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so the thing was that I did it out of health only. It's not like I was trying to lose weight for the first time. I'm not underweight, but I've gained weight really rapidly. So my doctor was like, this isn't healthy for you to gain so much weight
So fast.
in a month. Yeah, so fast. Which is why I was like, I should be more mindful of what I'm putting in my body. I still eat food. I don't diet. I just want to clarify. I eat really well. I eat like 5-6 meals a day. And people are really worried when I do like what I eat in my day. They're like, how much do you eat? But I'm just trying to be more mindful of what I put in my body.
Isn't it kind of cool that we get to convert that into content?
Yeah. And also it keeps you accountable in a way, at least for me. I'm doing a 15-day no sugar challenge. I have to, because I mean, goes without saying, I don't really rig my videos. So I have to like especially even I did this one video wherein I was waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning. And it was torturous. Oh my god. If I wasn't doing a video, I wouldn't have been able to.
You're so not a morning person.
Oh no, I'm not. But I feel like it's gotten better. After doing that video, I feel like it's gotten better wherein I can wake up at like 8, which is a reasonable time for me. I wish it's like 7. That's my like ideal time to wake up. I feel like I could get so much done. I could go work out. I could write in my gratitude journal. But yeah.
Literally,
Eventually.
currently, in the present week that you and I are filming this, I'm in the middle of a what I eat in a week video, and the disclaimer I gave at the start of the video was, I am not going to rig anything. So
Yeah.
if you're going to come at me, please don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, like, there's a set of audience that wants to see everything correct.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, no, I am not on a diet of any sort. So you're going to see what's real. And then on the other side, you're going to come at me. And I also don't want you to come at me because I don't want to be punished for keeping it real. So just, yeah, I understand what you mean by that. But wait, my question to you originally was, what would you not promote? And you said what you wouldn't promote.
Yeah,
Have you ever promoted something and regretted it later? Because like you said yes because the money was really good, or it just seemed like a good product and then it turned out not to be. I won't ask you to name the brand of product, so don't worry about
I'm
that.
trying to think. Was there anything? I don't think so.
Every collab you did has been 100.
Listen, I have really bad memory also. You need to vouch for that.
We
I tell
need
you,
to,
she tells me something and then the next time she refers to the same story and I'm like, what are you talking about? So she has to like catch me up on the whole thing. So I'm
And-
like really trying to think
And
hard.
it's the exact opposite when it comes to tea. Because when she gives me tea, I forget the tea. I always say I'm where gossip comes to die. So whenever she tells me something and she'll refer something else back to it a month later, and I'm like, huh? She's like, you forgot.
But I don't forget tea, huh? I remember the history of tea to the tea.
I agree. You have very good memory for the details.
For that, yeah. I delete everything else.
Do you feel like there's a lot of tea amongst the social media, amongst
Of
the
course.
influencer community?
I feel like there's a lot of tea in general with
but
everything. No?
You get along with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've never seen you having a beef with someone, or you do very good at balancing your, let me say, acquaintances versus friends.
Yeah. So growing up, I was an introvert. I didn't have a lot of friends. And when I entered the social media scene, I kind of felt like I have a chance to reinvent myself where I can shift my personality. So I kind of did that. It took me a really long time because for you to go from not being able to speak to anyone to being able to hold a conversation and really kind of build a relationship, it took me a lot of years. Again, I'm gonna say Aanam was you were the one who was like, you need to be able to go to events. I wouldn't attend events because I was so scared of meeting new people, not having a plus one, not having that
And
safety
you have
blanket.
had some really bad experiences in your first couple of events. I remember this piece of tea.
What are you talking about?
The
I
first
don't
couple
remember.
of events that you told me about. I love how you're blanking right now.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about?
I'll have to remind you after.
Yeah, tell me. We can talk about it
The
indirectly.
bad experience you had when you went for that event to, I want to say Alibag, Garjat. Where was it? I'm forgetting the place.
No,
But there
that
were
one was
influencers
really nice.
who threw shade at you.
Yeah,
See?
like that. The event was fab.
Yeah, no, I'm not the influencers there. See, I remember this.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you were horrible to her.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in particular have come to me and said that this said person was shady at them, or throwing kind of looks at them. But you've gotten better. I feel like the Mridul I met at Sapphire College in 2000 and what was it, 18? We met in
19, I believe. I don't know.
Sometime there.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen you kind of grow, and I know it shouldn't because I'm literally not your mom, but it gives me proud mama feels when I see you like in a different light, only because I feel like I've kind of been there to at least witness that transformation of sorts.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel
For
like
sure,
she's got this.
Yeah, and I feel like also a lot of people don't know Aanam and I are really good friends since a lot of years. We don't talk about it. Also, I haven't told you this. My parents call you my godmother in this space. I don't know why I haven't told you this, but
That is so sweet.
Yeah, it's really cute. I know.
That
I
is
just
so
thought it
sweet.
might be a little weird, which is why I didn't tell you. I was like,
Sweet.
she might get offended. I shouldn't tell you.
Godmother is really sweet, but it's a far stretch, yeah. Like I feel like we've both just genuinely been there.
No, I
for
feel
each
like
other.
you say it a lot that I've helped you in YouTube. I've really, whatever, helped you XYZ. But I feel like I don't say it enough. You've really helped me in a different way, wherein personally you've taught me a lot of things wherein I really need to stick up for myself. That's one thing that I've learned from, and I'm still learning actually. How to interact with people, build a relationship with brands. Aanam's very like, she's the definition of a business woman, and I have a long way to go in terms of learning all of that, but I feel like I learn every time we have a conversation. There's something to learn from you.
You are very kind. Thank you. I will graciously
Accept
and move on before I get embarrassed and shy on this. Okay, so here on the pod, we do this really fun game. It's called Associate This, which is basically like a rapid fire.
Okay.
I'm going to throw
I
words
suck
at...
at
No,
rapid fire.
you won't suck. It's
Okay.
quite... There's no right or wrong. It needs to be you.
Okay.
And your approach.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw a few words at you.
Okay.
And I need you to
Okay.
throw something back at me.
Okay.
Okay? Let's go. Aesthetic.
Oh God. I want to say queen, but
You
it's really cringy.
You have to be faster than this.
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay.
T.
I have something to say, but I'm just going to say DM because I keep sending you DMs of things that are happening. I'm the one who keeps Aanam updated with everything that's happening.
This is very, very true. We're breaking every rule of this this rapid fire game, but it's true. I have to chime in. Runway.
Lakme Fashion Week. I don't know why.
Dream collab.
Ooh, I want to say Victoria's Secret. I don't know why.
Everything is I don't know why. Because you
Just,
wanted.
Yeah, just.
Self-expression.
YouTube?
My next word was going to be YouTube.
YouTube? Home.
So cute.
Yeah.
Minimalism, which she is not.
Yeah. Not me. But do I need to give like an adjective?
No, it's okay. You said
Not
not me.
me.
You agreed. I'll let that pass.
Unfortunately.
Influencer.
Aanam. No, but it's so true. You were one of the first. You, Santoshi, Ashna, binge. I used to like read your blogs and yeah.
Glamour.
Karina, I don't know why.
Everything is I don't know why for this girl. Businesswoman.
Oh, Aanam again. I have to repeat it. I have to.
CEO.
Aanam. This is looking like a full ass licking segment.
No, it's not. But also, what are these responses? Okay, I'm gonna give you a last one.
Yeah.
Simbaa. She's failing at this
Yeah.
whole game.
Yeah, I'm feeling it's a very touchy topic for me right now.
But this whole segment you have failed at. I'm giving you an F.
Yeah, please do. That's what I told you. I'm really bad at rapid fires. I suck.
I'm convinced.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Is there anything you want to say to everybody before going? Any myths you want to bust? Any
Leave a pink heart emoji in the comments down below if you've made it so far. What was your question? Sorry, I needed to say this.
I love it. I'll let this I love doing secret comments and secret codes.
Which is why I did it. I know you do it.
I love how when I upload like a certain video, I'll get like a message from Mridul sometimes. Not for every video, obviously, but sometimes in specific videos, she'll send me a screenshot and it'll say, "This was nice. This was this. This was this." And I'm like, thanks.
No, or like certain timestamps where it'll be like, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. Actually, I get that a lot from Mridul, I should say. Because I'm such a Mufat.
Mufat, but I feel like you're smart about it. You're not stupid about it. But I feel like sometimes zarurat nahi hai.
But I like to say everything.
Yeah.
I don't...
because it can like bite you in the ass later
Has
on.
anything ever bitten you in the ass?
For me?
Yeah.
I keep quiet only. I don't talk too much. So
See, but you're good at this. The thing is, between you and me, I vlog a lot more
Yeah.
So I feel like if I don't say it, it's
Yeah.
almost like it's a diary of
Yeah.
mine. I feel like I'm hiding something.
Yeah. I know it makes sense. For me personally, I've just been such a vocal person in the past wherein I'll go out and say everything to everyone and it's not played out well for me. So now I try to keep my mouth shut and be very mindful of what I'm saying to whom.
Can you give me an example though? Like, for example, don't literally say what happened because then you're just bringing it back up.
This is again very bad because I have to jog my memory for this.
You're very good at this.
Yeah, I am, but it takes me some time. Hold on. Give me a moment.
I'm going to count to 10 for you.
Oh, fuck. that makes it worse.
I've never seen you in like hot water or like...
So I feel like the example that I gave you was very like school, college vibes.
Okay.
Wherein I was in a girls' college. So I mean... You can draw the picture for yourself what I'm talking about. But just like in general, saying something to someone and then them going and saying it to the third person and stuff like that. Very like
high schoolish.
Yeah, very high school vibe. So now I just like keep my mouth shut. I'm like, muh band rakhna hai.
On the muh band rakhna hai vibe, I think we should come to an end of this podcast. Otherwise, Mridul and I will be talking here for another hour. So thank you very much to everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, review, leave a comment, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. Make sure you come back next week, next Wednesday, for another podcast episode. And thank you, Mridul, for joining.
Thank you for having me. This was my first. Thank you for being my first.
I made
first
you lose your
podcast.
podcast virginity.
Yay. I'm glad I had it with you. Did it with you, rather.
Sounds so wrong.
Don't forget to leave the comment.
Pink heart.